Hey guys, James from Kartz-N-Fartz. So you guys know I'm pretty much a club car guy. I don't make any bones about that, but here's a 2014 EZGO TXT, previous customer, and he complained about he gives it the gas, he hears a noise, but it will not accelerate. So this is a common problem on EZGO TXTs. So I've taken the hubcap off, and the first thing I did was I noticed that cap is melted. So something has gotten pretty hot in there. And my suspicion is that the splines on the drum are stripped and this axle is just spinning. So I'm gonna take this off. It's not that bad of a job to do. You sitting there at home, if you've got an EZGO and you've got stripped drums, I personally have never seen the axle strip. I've only seen the drum strip. Not saying that it can't happen, but I just hadn't seen it happen. And let's go from there. And as you look at it, hopefully the camera can pick up, it almost looks like it's settled down, like it's done ground a slot in it. So I got my jack set. Let's take this wheel off and let's see what we're looking at. All right, I got the wheel off. I just took the Carter key off. I mean, I already know, you can look see how off-centered it is. But when you take that Carter key off, take this nut off, you can look at it and see how it is completely stripped out. Now, let me show you what, I've got an older one over here, I hadn't taken to the recycler yet. So, don't have a new one in stock. I'm gonna order one, but that's what it should look like with those splines. So, obviously, that side over there is completely shot. As cheap as they are, I'm gonna put two on it left and right. So the next step is for me to get this drum off of the axle shaft, off of the brakes, and see what kind of condition the brakes are in. You see all the powder that came off, and hopefully that was just from there, or it might have been a little bit of brake dust. But anyway, let's get that drum off. All right, so if this will pick up on it, which I think it does, strip to pieces. So those splines should come all the way out to there. So now it's making me think what's going on with the axle itself. I might have to end up putting an axle on this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the other side apart and let me see how far those splines come out on those axles. But if you look at that, it is completely smooth and it should have grooves, splines in there. Looking at the brake pads, the top of the brake pads look pretty thick, but as I get down to here, I don't know if the camera will pick up on there, they're pretty thin. So I may talk with the customer, see if he wants to just go ahead and stick a set of brake shoes on here while we've got it apart. All right, we're taking the other side off, and a lot of this stuff, it takes two hands. I only got one hand to hold the camera. This nut ended up being a 15/16. I don't know if other ones are different sizes, other different year models, but right away I can see the splines. So let's see with this. I might come off with one hand. I'm gonna lay the camera down real quick. There we go. So let's look at the brake pads. Very thin up front, so I'm definitely going to recommend a brake job for this customer. But if you look at the axle, look at there, splines go all the way out. So I'm gonna have to put on a driver's side axle on this. You look at the drum, this one looks in pretty good shape. I think that's not a crack, that's just a piece of dirt. But if I'm gonna replace one drum, I'm gonna go ahead and replace them both. They're not that much money. Now to replace these axles, you slide that thrush washer, I guess that's what you call it, out of the way. And right there you can see there are some snap rings. So hit those snap rings. There is a bearing somewhere right here in this axle tube. It usually comes out pretty easily. I haven't had any problems taking those out in the past. I've only done a couple of those. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and replace that axle for this customer. So anyway, got EZGO that won't go 99% of the time. It just strips the drum and it does not affect the axle, but in this case I'm gonna have to stick an axle in there. So I might even go and do that. I might go and pull the axle and just show you guys how easy it is to put an axle in here while I'm on this video. All right, we're back on this side. So I usually just take a flathead screwdriver. There it goes. Once you can, because it's kind of hard to reach in there with your fingers, but it's not that tight of a fit. Me trying to do this with one hand holding the camera. Are you gonna come out now? Oh, almost. All right, there we go. So that's going to slide out the way. And now, if you can see those 2 points for my snap ring, take a pair of snap ring pliers like so. Let's grab these. Oh, got one side. If I had a better quality pair of snap ring pliers, I might could get it in the first take. There it goes. Lay that aside. That won't let go. There you go. Now let's see this axle. So let me try to grab this axle with something to try to get it out. All right, I'm not too worried about messing anything up because I know I'm gonna replace all this stuff, but I screwed the nut on there and I took my hammer, and as I'm tapping it, I don't know if you can see, but that bearing is coming out. All right, let's tap on it some more. I'm sure there's an axle puller to make this job a lot easier. There it goes. So now the axle, there's the bearing right there, and I can feel it. You can't tell on the camera. It's a little rough. Bearings are cheap. I'm gonna recommend putting a new bearing when I put it back together, and it slides all the way out. So those splines obviously look good. These look like trash. So I need a driver's side axle. So until my parts come in, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go back, reverse what I showed you. I took it apart, get new brakes on there. I'll tell you another little secret that I've learned also. It's usually better to buy these brakes preloaded. You're gonna fight those springs pretty rough. There's 4 1/2-inch bolts that hold this whole backing plate. You don't have to take the axle out to replace this backing plate, but you do need to take the hub off with the, let's see, actually, I'm sorry, you do not. I'm thinking club car. On the EZGO, once you get the drum off, then yeah, you can just unbolt it and slide it right off. It won't affect this at all. So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful, not long. Doing the best I can with one hand and watching a couple rug rats over there, but it's not a very difficult job to do on your own. Be sure to use jack stands. Do not crawl underneath these carts without it. The first time you do is the first time that it's going to fall on you. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope this helps.